Hey guys, I've been wanting to give you this for a while. I have been talking about archetypes for a long time. If you're here watching this and you don't know me, my name is Jean-Pierre, otherwise known as JP. I'm a performance coach, mentor to business owners, founders, leaders, and I have done so for over 20 years. I help them step into greater versions of themselves, reconnect to themselves, continue to be successful and keep growing their success, but without it coming at a cost, without it costing them their peace, their happiness, their joy, their fulfillment, and their family, their relationships, etc. So I talk about archetypes a lot because the person that we are being today is our identity. And if we want to change our life, we have to change our identity. One way to change your identity is through changing your habits. And after 20 years, starting my career as a personal trainer in London, teaching my clients habits and being very successful, still to this day, teaching my clients habits and being very successful with my clients. So that's one way. Another way to build a new identity is to create a version of yourself that you can step into. So you know what that version of yourself looks like, you know what it feels like, you know how they think, and this is what's called archetypes. One of my clients that in the UK is messaging me like 4 times right now. I don't know, maybe he wants to change his session tomorrow, but he's just one of the most recent people that I've been working on with archetypes and creating a better version of yourself, and then looking at who I'm being today, what I'm deciding right now. Am I being this individual or am I being my limited self? The beauty of creating an archetype is you can create a limitless self because your limitations are attached to your name, are attached to your past, are attached to your life, are attached to your failures. And when you create an archetype, it's like creating a superhero. It's like creating an alter identity or an alter ego. And just to be very clear, this fucking works. I'll give you a few examples. Marshall Mathers is his name, but his archetype or his super self, his superhero self, his best self, his alter identity that made him a star was who? Eminem. And in the beginning, who was it? Slim Shady. Now, I don't know what his real name is. It's just completely gone out of my head. But his another rapper and producer, his alter ego was Dr. Dre, right? His real name is Andre something. Forgive me, Dr. Dre. You're such a legend, but I can't remember your full name right now. The list goes on and on and on. There is Conor McGregor, the fighter, who what was his archetype? Mystic Mac. There is another one that I always reference to, which is Beyonce Knowles. We know her as Beyonce Knowles, but I remember years ago there was a documentary about her. And in the documentary, a big part of the documentary was saying that when she steps onto stage, for her to be able to perform and think at that level and be present at that level, she doesn't go on as Beyonce Knowles. She goes on as Sasha Fierce. So at the top of the game, athletes, performers in business, performers in their art, uh, they use archetypes. And the beauty of this is when you find yourself limited by your reality, limited by your circumstances, limited by whatever's going on in your life, this can actually consume you. So to get out of it, you step out of that version of you that's dealing with all this fear and the shit and the limitations and the doubts and the worries, or the frustrations, the letdowns, and you create this alter version. Over the years, I first created the spiritual gangster. That's my alter identity. And spiritual gangster stood for someone that's deeply connected to spirituality, to love, to kindness, to compassion, but also is a gangster, a hustler, a deal maker, a guy that fucking gets shit done no matter what, etc. And I actually got given that by my clients in the UK. And then my tailor, also in the UK, where I met him in the gym where I was training my clients in my late 20s, maybe early 30s. He loved it. He loved this nickname, Spiritual Gangster. And then for the next few years, when I was getting tailored suits made and jeans, what's another word for jeans? Denims, and smart trousers and stuff like that, he would put Spiritual Gangster on the inside. And I absolutely used to love that. But then recently, last 6 years, when I got hit by a car in a hit and run collision, left for dead on the side of the road. Sorry, I just realized I've got a fucking ultra marathon here playing in the background. And I just got inspired by watching this video, and as I was going live, and then put it aside and didn't even realize it's still fucking playing. My apologies. Over the last few years, I created a new alter identity, and it's the Iron Monk. Iron Monk. Iron Monk. And the Iron Monk is the yin and the yang. It's the balance between the hard iron, as in Iron Man. I'm a multiple times Iron Man triathlete. I've also done 1,000 burpees in 3 hours. I've fought professionally. So iron stands for that part of my identity. I'm hard as fucking nails. Like after this, I watched this video and I was like, you know what? I looked at my clients for tomorrow. I've got a pretty quiet day tomorrow. It's like, should I go run a half marathon to a marathon tonight? I really feel like doing something really fucking hard, like really fucking hard. And I was like, but my foot's hurting. And I was like, yeah, that would make it even harder because I can run a half marathon like that without even trying, at least under 3 hours, 2 hours, something. And so I've got that version of me. But also, as I've matured and aged, I've brought in another version of me, which is the monk. 4 years ago, I trained and ordained as a Buddhist monk. I've also done many, many hours in meditation. I've done a lot of spiritual quests. I have facilitated my own healing sessions for clients with plant medicine. I have sat with more powerful plant medicines and sat for 200 hours in an apprenticeship with one of the greatest plant medicines in the world, if not the greatest, ayahuasca. With an extraordinary teacher in the UK. I've done a lot of spiritual stuff, and I've become very spiritual after being hit by that car and questioning the meaning of life because it was so fragile and my life was almost taken away from me. I didn't want to be that hardcore person anymore. I never wanted that part of me to die, but I didn't want that to run my life. So I want to be like a warrior in a garden. You know that saying, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. I want to be a gardener. I want to live my life like a monk. Just recently, I gave all my Rode and my Shure professional microphones away and the mic arm, because I just find myself over time simplifying my life more and more and more, because that's how monks live. I don't like too much stuff. I could probably, if I moved house, I'm pretty sure if I had a company come and take all the stuff, put in a truck, 1, our whole house would fit in a truck. 2, I could do it in a day. Easy, because I just keep simplifying and simplifying and simplifying my life. So anyway, I like to look at my life and ask myself, am I being the Iron Monk today? Where is my identity? Where are my thoughts? Where are my emotions? How am I communicating? How am I, like if I ask myself, looking at this session that I'm delivering for you, am I being the Iron Monk? I'm definitely coming across as iron. I probably will settle more into monk because I'm a little bit excited. It's been a few weeks that I've wanted to deliver this to you. But yeah, that is the greatest version of myself. That's what the alter identity is. Oh, there's another example. One of my long-standing clients of about 6 years, he's been in my communities, my masterminds, he's come to my events. He's in my community right now. He has been a private client, and his name is Gavin, but he calls himself the Galvanizer. And when he is the Galvanizer, he is the greatest version of himself. He's the most consistent. When he is showing up as the Galvanizer, he is the most disciplined, consistent, empowered, non-fucking negotiable version of himself. And he's a businessman. He's a very busy businessman with two main businesses. And sometimes he realizes that he gets caught up in his life. He gets caught up in his challenges. And what I remind him to do is to step back into the galvanizer. And he's always very grateful for that. He's like, man, I need to bring the galvanizer back. Sometimes I need to bring the Iron Monk back for whatever reason. But I'm going to help you, one, create your own alter identity, your own superhero self. And I'm going to show you how you can start living this way, how you can start relying on this person that becomes your greatest ally, your greatest strength, because you're creating this version of you that is limitless. They're unshakable. They're unbreakable. They're undeniable. And when you need to attack your life's challenges, you step into this version of yourself and shit just gets done. You're more productive. You're more powerful. You're more empowered. You're more persistent. You're more resilient. You're more patient. Whatever it is that you need, this version of you can do anything and everything. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with you. Now, so that's about archetypes, right? And I've shared with you lots of examples. And when we can live as this version of ourselves, we can have whatever we want, right? With limitations, obviously. You have whatever you want, not whatever, anything in the world. Like, what do you want? Is it realistic? Is it achievable, etc.? For you to be the best version of yourself, you need to have certain thoughts, you need to have certain habits, you need to have a certain energy, you need to have a certain presence. And if you can create that version of yourself, you have the best chance of achieving all of your goals, living out your full potential, overcoming your challenges, attacking your life. And that's what we're going to do here. But the other version of you, that's what's holding you back. That's what holds us back in our life. That life that we want in wealth, in health, in happiness, in love, in relationships, in abundance, that life that we want is being blocked by the person that we are. Let me say that again. The life that we want is being blocked by the person that you are. And I just said this to my own community earlier today. I said that you can't take all of you at this level to the next level. You can't take this version of you to the next version of you. Otherwise, you would already be there. So just let that land. For you to get to another level, to get to another identity, a part of you has to die. A part of you has to die. You have to let go of an old version of you. And this current version of you is holding you back from the life that you want, not because you're weak or fucked up or not good enough or that there's something wrong with you. You just haven't got to that new version of you yet. Or maybe you have, but you haven't been able to hold it. Maybe that resonates with you. You've got new things in your life, but you weren't able to keep it. That's because your identity is still based on the old level of your existence. So it's trying to pull you back to the old version of yourself. So more money comes in, more health comes in, more love comes in, more success comes in, more sales comes in. But then your old identity tries to pull you back because, listen very carefully, the most powerful driving force in the world is to stay consistent with who underline you believe you are. That's your identity. Every day we're trying to prove ourselves right. Every day we're trying to prove our current identity right. Every day we are trying to stay consistent with our current beliefs. So you don't get a new life by paying someone to fix your fucking life. I often say to people, either when I speak on stage or when I work with people privately, I say, I don't have any fucking magic fairy dust. I don't have a magic wand. You know, you don't get a new life by hoping and wishing and namasteing. You don't get a new life by just learning more. You get a new life by becoming someone else. You have to become someone else. Everything that you have right now, every result that you have right now in your life, your body, your bank account, your relationships, your happiness, your confidence, your energy, your belief in yourself, everything you have is the perfect reflection of who you currently are. It's a perfect reflection of your current identity. Everything. The world is a mirror. Your life is a mirror of your identity. Let that sink in. So if you want a new life, you don't need more skills, more strategies, more tactics, more tools. You need a new identity. You need to create a new identity. So why do you think identity is so important? Just think about it. Why do you think identity is so important? Obviously, I've given you a lot of answers. Just first thing that comes to mind. If you try to create outcomes from your current identity, but the outcomes are above your current identity, you'll fail. If you try to change your habits, but you're not willing to change your identity, your habits will become temporary. But if you're able to change your identity, change becomes permanent. And that's because you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. And a big part of identity is standards, right? A certain identity has certain standards. Like if this person lives like this, it's because of these standards. If this person lives like this, it's because of these standards. And then you can look at, okay, what are standards? Standards are what you accept in your life, what you tolerate, what you're non-negotiable about. And then to be specific, how you set standards is through daily habits. So you don't rise to your goals. People set goals all the time and fucking fail all the time. That's because you will fall to your identity every time. Every time. You know how many people come to me for coaching or mentoring and they're like, yeah, fuck, let's do it. And then after the coaching or the 3 months or 6 months, whatever they did with me, generally if they do longer, they change their identity. But some people think, oh, I've done 3 months. Yeah, I'm amazing. I don't need anything more. And I'm like, amazing. My job is to make myself redundant. So if you don't need me, amazing. But you know what makes me sad? Is I watch those clients go backwards because they change their habits, which are temporary. You know, they change their environment by working with me. They changed their thoughts by working with me, but they weren't able to lock in the identity yet. But they thought, oh no, I've already changed. But because the most powerful driving force is to stay consistent with who you believe you are, when you remove yourself from the habits, you remove yourself from the environment, you go back to who you fucking believe you are. And if that's an old version of yourself, guess what? That's where you're going. You're going back to the old version of yourself. And then, this is very sad, but some people, after working with me, they achieve extraordinary results. After 3 months, they're like, oh, I want to do another 3 months. And then maybe after that next 3 months, they're like, you know what? I'm good now. I'm good. I don't need the support that got me to keep increasing things in my life. I'm good. I don't need to keep investing in myself and investing in a coach or mentor because everything's going well. Well, don't wait for fucking things to go wrong again. You know, while things are going well, keep doing what's working for you. They're like, no, I'm good. And then sometimes I never hear from them again because I know. And only a handful in my career of people have come back to me a few years later and said, you know why I didn't get back in touch with you? Because I slipped, JP. I slipped, I went backwards, and I was fucking ashamed because of the work that we did together. And I'm always like, God damn it, man. Like, you should know me better than that. I'm not going to judge you for going backwards. No one's fucking perfect. I definitely am not perfect. I just rely on everything that I share with you. The difference to me and you is when it works for you, you stop doing it. I fucking keep doing it all the time. All the time. So, some examples. If you see yourself as inconsistent, you will act inconsistent. Why? Because you are matching your identity. You are agreeing with your identity. Your RAS, your reticular activating system, your subconscious, your unconscious is looking to prove you right. Whatever you believe, it's looking to prove you right. If you believe you're stupid, it's looking for more evidence of that. If you see yourself as tired, you will stay tired. You know, the most tired person in the world is the person that says all day, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. I know, because I've fucking been there. And then one day I was like, maybe if I just stop saying I'm tired. Now my identity, if I keep saying I am speaks to your identity. Say, I feel tired, I feel depressed, I feel frustrated. Don't say I am. I am means this is who I am. So if you say I am tired, it sounds insignificant. But if you say, I am tired, you've now programmed yourself to believe that your identity is one of tiredness. And then it just tries to prove you right all day. However, if you see yourself as powerful, everything changes. Everything changes. Your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, your actions, your reactions, the results that you get as a result of all of the above. See yourself as powerful. And that's what the point of archetypes is. Create the most powerful self that you can. Give him a name. Give her a name. Because your current identity is created by your current life. Your current identity is created by your current life. So why are you trying or expecting it to create a different one? Your current identity is created by your current life, and your current life is created by your current identity. So if you keep living this way, how can you expect to have a different life? I told you, you need to let go. You need to be willing to die. I can never say this the right way. You need to be willing to die to yourself, or you need to be willing to die of yourself. Maybe someone can help me with the answer. But you need to be willing to die. You need to be willing to let go. You need to be willing to, like Friedrich Nietzsche said, the snake that doesn't shed its skin doesn't evolve. You need to be willing to shed your skin, shed layers, say bye-bye to the old version of you so you can grow into the new version of you. To become someone new, you have to let go of the old version of you. To become someone new, the old version of you has to die. Die. Your old beliefs, your old thoughts, your old habits, your old emotional patterns, your old excuses. Bye-bye, bye-bye, because you can't carry them into the new version of you. You can't carry your old identity into your new life because it doesn't fucking fit. It doesn't fit. Like your current life is a puzzle, and then your new life is a new puzzle. But not willing to let go of your beliefs, your old beliefs, your thoughts, your old emotional patterns, etc., your old habits, your vices, not being willing to let that go and move into your new life that you can visualize and picture, be inspired by. It's like trying to take old pieces of the puzzle and put it into the new pieces of puzzle. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You need to be willing to let it go. The old version of you doesn't fit in your new life. And I'm passionate about this because the reason why I'm bringing this to you is because this is the work that I have done to become the man that I am, the father that I am, the husband that I am. It's the work that I've done to get through the challenges in my life. Let's go. Everything I share is from experience. Nothing that I share is from reading something or ChatGPTing something now in 2026. I used to say from research or doing some qualification. Now you don't even need to do that. If I haven't experienced something or studied something myself, I don't fucking share it. Never have, never will. The reason why I bring energy and passion and presence to all of my talks, my clients, my students, my podcasts, my speeches is because I teach from lived experience. So the old version of you, you have to burn it. You have to kill it. You have to release it. Don't do it with anger. It served you. Your old beliefs served you up until where you were. Your old relationships, your old emotional patterns, your old behaviors, your old habits, vices. It served you in some way. Nothing in life doesn't serve you. Nothing. So let it go with grace and ease. And just say, hey, man, I'm moving on to a next level. Thank you, but you're no longer required. You're no longer required. I'm stepping into a higher version of myself. And this isn't about becoming fake. When you create an archetype or a super self or an alter identity, it's not about becoming fake. It's about becoming who you actually are capable of becoming. And for some of us, that's too hard. It's too hard to think, how am I going to become a completely different person? So you can do that in a fictional way. You can do that in a story. You can do that by creating a character like Eminem, Slim Shady, Dr. Dre, Sasha Fierce. What was Ali's alter ego, Muhammad Ali? Oh my God, I can't remember right now. Right, my client's one. Rather than call himself Gavin, it's the Galvanizer. My alter identity. What's people wonder, like, how do you do what you do? How are you so resilient? How do you run 6 marathons in 6 days? How do you climb to the roof of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, a year after having your legs shattered in multiple places? How 6 months after that did you run 3 marathons in a circle around your village in one road, 3 marathons in under 24 hours? How do you do that? I stepped into an alter identity. I stepped into the Iron Monk. It wasn't JP. JP has a lot of shit that he's carrying from his fucking childhood still. Yes, he's got rid of a lot of the layers, but he's still got a lot of stuff to work. He's still got stuff to work on. Let me be kind to myself and fair to myself. There's definitely not a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff for many years, but I've still got stuff to work on. But the Iron Monk is unshakable, unbreakable, undeniable. He just gets shit done. He just gets shit done. Archetypes are your access point to power. It's your way to access your own personal power. So first of all, let me just give credit to Carl Jung, because Carl Jung was the first person that spoke about archetypes, I guess, at a global level, and spoke about the universal patterns of identity and how we all have these identities and how we can all step into these identities. So Carl Jung has, you can Google his model or YouTube, whatever, I'm sure there's books on it. But he has the 12 archetypes. You can create whatever archetype you want, right? But his 12 archetypes, they basically fit into everyone's lives. The top ones are like the warrior, the lover, the magician, the king, the jester. Well, I don't know if that's a Carl Jung one, but the rebel, the sage, the hero. These are all archetypes. These are all versions of ourselves that we can step into, versions of ourselves that we can tap into, and versions of ourselves that we can go back to because maybe we've forgotten how to be that person. Once again, I teach this stuff from experience. And about a year ago, when I was doing an exercise around archetypes, sometimes I give stuff to my clients, and then on the same day, I will do it for myself. And I thought, let me go back to the archetypes. And I realized something. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it was about a year after doing my Buddhist monk experience. And I realized, man, growing up, I was a jester. I really was a jester. I was a jester, a joker, comedian. I was so fucking hilarious. I was so silly. I just had these craziest, like, every time I would see my family upset or stressed or whatever, I would be like, if you stress, you die. If you don't stress, you still die. So why stress? Or I would like, bah, do that around the corner. I did that to my partner sometimes. But I would make these silly noises. And then when I was a semi-pro cyclist, we'd be in the peloton, which is like the massive group of cyclists, and we'd be racing. And me and my cousin would be like shouting on the top of our voice, and I don't know, I just used to love being silly. And then I just got into life and I got into business and I got into success. And I realized I was whatever, 42, 42, 43. How old am I now? 44. So yeah, 42. And I was like, I've lost that side of me. So I made a commitment, probably going into the beginning of 2025, it must have been. I said, I'm going to bring the jester back. And if you follow me on social media like Instagram, you'll see that over the last year and a bit, I've been doing more silly videos with my partner. I've been singing karaoke. I've been making a fool of myself. I've been having more fun. My partner opened a nail salon. I thought, fuck it, let me be a rock star and paint my nails. Well, I tried with tattoos many years ago. Love tattoos. Got my ears pierced. Love having my ears pierced. I still have them pierced many years ago. But I tried this and I was like, this is not for me. It looks, when I'm doing my boxing, getting ready for boxing, and I'm doing my hand wraps, I'm like, my nails just look so weird. So I've asked my partner to take them off. But I just think it's silly. It's a silly thing to do. We did a silly little video of me getting my hands done. And that was because I looked at what was missing from my life. That next version of me, who do I want to be? I want to bring back the jester. I want to bring back the play. I want to do it for myself and my partner. I want to do it for my kids. I want to be more silly because I grew up that way and I lost that side of me. So I made a commitment to step into the jester. And that's the archetype that I brought back into my life. And the iron monk and the spiritual gangster, they have the jester in them. So like I said, my client Gavin calls himself the galvanizer. Right? The galvanizer is like the hero, the sage, the rebel, the leader, right? It's like when he needs to get shit done in business, he switches on the galvanizer. I told you I was the spiritual gangster. The spiritual gangster is like when I go out and socialize, the spiritual gangster is calm, cool, collected, confident, has fucking awesome energy. He has energy that like radiates onto others, and people want to be around him because he's just so cool. And I'm not in work mode or thinking about anything other than being there. And then the iron monk is the standard by which I live. The spiritual gangster is about energy. The iron monk is about, this is the standard by which I live. I'm non-negotiable. I'm courageous. I'm confident. I'm certain. I'm calm, cool, collected. I'm a provider. I'm a caretaker. I do whatever it fucking takes to get shit done. And these aren't nicknames, to be very clear. These are identities, and you can create your own identity. You can create whatever identity you want. Your alter ego becomes your advantage. So I highly recommend that you don't need to do this for me. But I'm telling you now, you need to do this for you. You really do. Because it's crazy powerful. And some of my clients recently, I have this 3-month container that's now just an ongoing community of high-performing people in WhatsApp, and we meet every Friday on Google Meet. And a few people in there recently have done archetypes for the first time. And they're like, man, this is like so cool. And they're sharing their names for their archetypes. I've got one of my clients is the peaceful gladiator. Another one just told me last week he's created an archetype for his higher self, which is the something Viking. Oh my God. Paul, if you watch this, I'm so sorry. I've just forgotten. The something Viking. Oh man, I've forgotten it now. God damn. Anyway, it's a great name. No, I gotta find it now. The Copper Viking, because he loves metal. He's quite spiritual. He's a successful businessman. He's got a beautiful life, beautiful land, beautiful family, but he's very spiritual, or should I say, and he's very spiritual, into metals and crystals and healing. And he loves copper. He wears a lot of copper. So he called himself the Copper Viking because he looks like a goddamn Viking. Trust me. Yeah. So what's your name? What name do you want to create? What name best fits you? But it's not a nickname. It's an identity. So don't just, like, when my client thinks of galvanizer, when he's thinking of himself as the galvanizer, he's thinking of himself as the galvanizer. He's not thinking, oh, this is me calling myself the galvanizer. I'm not calling myself spiritual gangster. My client's not calling himself as he is the Copper Viking. No, he's saying, who is the Copper Viking? And what does it look like and feel like when I am operating from that place? When I am being the Copper Viking, how does he act? How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he think? How does he speak? How does he connect? How does he communicate? And then also look at, when you really need to be the best version of yourself, ask yourself, am I being that person? Am I being him, or am I being her? Or am I being a lesser version? Am I being a version of myself that's not serving me right now? And actually, I need to hold myself accountable and responsible, and I need to step into that version of myself. So let me go get some silence. Let me step away. Let me go for a walk, do whatever, go to the gym, do some burpees, some push-ups, and let me come back as the person that I know I can be, should be, and must be right now for whatever it is that I'm about to face. We all have multiple versions of ourselves. We have our inner child. We have our irritable, fucking annoying, rebellious teenager. We have our functional adult or our grown-up. We have our warrior. We have our lover. We have our jester. Okay, maybe not everyone has a jester. Some people are way too serious. But the alter identity is you as your best self. It's you when you perform very well under pressure. It's you even when you're tired, you get shit done. And it's you when you're on fucking fire, when you're on fire. But here's the problem. Most people that aren't aware of this work, and they don't know how to do this work, and they don't have accountability to stepping into this version of themselves, they don't know how to control who shows up. So they just, oh my God, they just fucking show up 7 different people in one day, and then life becomes chaotic and they become a victim, or they start screaming and shouting at people. You start playing everyone's favorite radio station, Blame FM, and you blame her or him or your kid or your partner for the way you're feeling or for whatever's going on in your life. And you're like, oh man, it's everyone's fault and I don't like the way I'm feeling. Maybe it's just because you're not being who you need to be. And you don't even know how to switch that on. You don't even know how to switch on that version of yourself because you don't even know who's running the fucking show right now. You don't even know who is showing up. But you can know. You don't need to wait to feel ready. Leaders, high performers, people that win, they don't wait. They step into the version of themselves that they need to be. And they step into the version of themselves that is already ready. Let me say that. Winners, leaders don't wait to feel ready. They step into the version of themselves that is already fucking ready. And you create a version of yourself that's always ready and stays ready, so it never has to get ready. Are you ready? Right, let's do it. Who do you need to become to handle your current life? Who do you need to become to achieve your greatest goals? Who do you need to become to create the life that you've always wanted? And what is the name of that person? What is the name of your higher self? Is it the Iron Monk? Is it the relentless the relentless warrior or the relentless builder? Is it the cool and calm assassin? Is it the peaceful warrior or the peaceful gladiator? Is it the unbreakable or unshakable leader? Is it the undeniable warrior? You get to choose whatever name you want. But very importantly, once you've chosen the name, now you've got to create the identity attached to this name. So here's the first question. 1, how does that version of you think? 2, how does that version of you speak? 3, how does that version of you act? And 4, how does that version of you show up under pressure? When your back's against the fucking wall. This is a very important one. How does that version of you show up when your back is against the wall, when you're massively under pressure? How do they deal with that? How do they handle that? And embody it. What does it feel like to be that person? Right? You can come back to this. You can watch the recording of this. You can press stop, pause, whatever. But think of the name. First, you have the name. Then you answer these questions. What does this version of you think? How do they speak? How do they act? How do they perform under pressure? Wherever that is in your life that you need to perform under pressure. And then embody it. Feel how they're doing this, how they're talking, how they're acting, how they're responding, how they're performing under pressure, how they deal with pressure. And make sure that you have the posture of this version of you. Make sure that you have the breathing of this version of you. Make sure that you have the energy of this version of you. Make sure that you have the tone. Make sure that you have the frequency, vibration of this version of you. Feel it. Feel it, embody it, become it, create it. Take a deep breath in. Breathe into that version of you. Breathe into that version of you. Posture, breathing, tone, energy, vibration, frequency, presence. Breathe into that version of you. And then, this is how you use this. Before every big decision that you have to make in your life, ask yourself, what would he or she do right now? I'm smiling because I've done this so many times. Asked myself recently, what would the Iron Monk do right now? What would the Iron Monk do right now? Whatever your greatest version of yourself is, what would they do right now? What would they do right now? Write it down. Imagine if you did this every day, every morning, every night, and rather than asking yourself the question, what would I do right now? Ask yourself, what would this version of you do tomorrow when I wake up first thing? Or tap into it in the morning by doing the breathing and the embodying, the posture, the breath, the energy, the presence. Ask yourself, who am I today? Who am I going to be today? What do I need to get done? What needs to happen today? As your higher self. Or ask yourself, am I being my higher self? Like, look how you start your day in the first hour. In the first hour of your day and in the last hour of your day. This is everything about the truth of who you are. Look who's running the show. If you start your day like empowered and peaceful and present in the first hour, like that's who's running the show. But check yourself before you wreck yourself. Fucking chicken fresh. Ask yourself, who's running the show right now? Is it my default self? Is it my limited self? Or is it my highest empowered self? And then if it's not your higher self, if it's not your most empowered self, your most confident self, your alter identity, your highest identity, ask yourself, what do I need to change? What do I need to change in my state? Or how do I need to change my state, i.e. habits, wink, wink, win your morning, non-negotiables, 10 commandments, my clients and students, you know what I'm fucking talking about. That's how you do it, through repetition. Through repetition, through practice. Practice makes progress. So what do I need to do? What do I need to do to change my state? How can I change my state so that I can get back into my higher self? Or at the end of your day, ask yourself, where did I live as my higher self and where did I drop it? Where did I step into my higher self today and where did I neglect my higher self or ignore my higher self? Most people don't need more time. I know I don't need more time because everyone in the world that's ever existed has had 24 hours. And we don't need more motivation, although we can. Motivation helps. It's a thing. I studied sports psychology and performance psychology at a master's level, and motivation is a thing. Tests and studies have been done to prove that motivation makes your performance higher and makes you get better results. But motivation is temporary. The only thing is permanent in your life until you change it, or it's more permanent, is your identity. So what you do need, and what we all need to get to our next level, is to become someone else. And respecting the person that you've been up until now, loving the person that you've been up until now, honoring, seeing, saluting, celebrating the person that you've been up until now. It's not about shunning that person or shaming that person. You've done your best up until this point in your relationship, in the relationship with yourself, in the relationship with others, the relationship with your family, your partner, your kids, in your work, in your business. You've done your best up until now. You've just figured out now how to be even better. So it's about becoming someone new, someone better, and not shaming the person that you have been. It's like, hey, man, you've done a great fucking job until now, but we're going to create a higher version of you. The version of you that already has everything that you want. In their world, everything already exists. It already exists. So you're present, you're joyful, you're powerful, you're just fucking ready to take on life because nothing is missing. Nothing. You can do anything. That's what you need. But the question is, when are you going to do it? Are you even going to do it? Are you going to create that version of yourself? Are you going to be committed to stepping into that version of you? Or you're never going to do it? And if you say, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, when? When? How about now being a good time? Because the moment you decide and you fully step in, you fully commit, your life doesn't change slowly. It changes fucking rapidly. When you change your identity, your life changes almost immediately. Almost immediately. So don't look at improving your life the way you are. Look at replacing the person living your life. Replace the person living your life and the life you live will change. Because the life you're living is a result of the person. It's a result of who you're being. And when you change who you're being, what you're seeing will change. When you change your frequency, you will change what you frequently see. When you change what you focus on, you will change what you receive. If you think of your life as a projector setup, and you've got a laptop, a projector, and a screen, right? The screen is our life. The projector is our eyes. And the laptop is our program, our identity. If you don't like what you see on the screen, you don't fucking tear the screen down. You don't blame the projector, your eyes. Oh, I don't like what I'm seeing in my life. Take my fucking eyes out. No, you have to go to the program. You have to change the identity, change the software, upgrade the software, upgrade the identity, and then what you see changes. To quote one of my greatest teachers in my life, the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, he used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Well, what changes long term? What changes the way you look at things? Your identity. Because the most powerful driving force in the world is to stay consistent with who you are. Let's go. Let's go create newer, higher versions of ourselves, and let's grow into that version of ourselves. If you need my help, you can do it. I work with people privately. I have a community, and I also run retreats in Thailand. My next retreat is November, where you can spend 7 days with me building a new identity, where you're outside of your life, away from your wife, away from your husband, away from your school, away from your kids, away from your business, you're away from everything, and you're totally immersed in you. And then as well with just everything around you that's high vibration, nature, Thai culture, hikes, walks, boats, island trips, swimming, yoga, medicine work, sound healing, mentoring with me every day, proximity with me every day and the other people in the group, Muay Thai, fitness, stretching, breath work. I'm sure I've missed some things. But the next one is the 8th to the 14th of November. I only run it twice a year, have done for many years here at my home in Phuket, Thailand. It's November 8th to the 14th. I also work with 10 people privately a year. Please understand that I've done this for over 20 years. And I work with 10 people because I give all of myself to my clients. Some of my clients, I speak to them every single day in WhatsApp, but we have a session depending on the client, maybe every week or every 2 weeks. But I do also work privately and confidentially with business leaders, been doing it for a long time. It's application only because my style is not for everyone. I want to make sure that it's a win-win because your success is my success. And if I'm working harder than you, then it's a big fucking problem. So I'm not willing to work with anyone that wants a fucking magic wand waved over their life or their business or their health or their fitness. Like, you need to hold yourself responsible. I will poke you, I will prod you, I will love you fucking hard, but I will not accept your excuses. If you want a more relaxed environment to work with me, then come spend a week with me in Thailand. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining me. Please share this, comment, like. This is a very important message. There's a lot of suffering in the world. Over 700,000 people last year committed suicide. It's like one person every 43 seconds. And it's because some people say, I am depressed. I am broke. I am bankrupt. I am divorced. People think that their circumstance is their identity. And then because they don't like their circumstance, they think they don't like themselves. So the only way to change this temporary situation, when you have by your own fault made it permanent by saying I am, you then think the only solution to a temporary problem is a permanent solution. And I find that very sad. This is not who this video is obviously targeted at. This is about what I've shared with you over the last hour or so, is about how to live a more powerful life, how to live a more present life, how to live a more purposeful life, a more energized life, but also it's very, very helpful for people that are going through shit in their life to create an alter identity that takes all of their suffering outside and it puts it aside, and allows them to step into a version of themselves that can just get them through the next day and the next day and the next day. And then through repetition and through discipline and consistency as that higher version of themselves, they build new evidence. And as they start to stack the evidence of what's possible, they become possible. And that's how we change our lives. One day at a time, one moment at a time, one decision at a time. It's my job to give you access. It's your job to choose. What will you choose? I hope you will choose you. Peace.